Hello, everyone. This is Lallie Napier coming to you once again from my magical, wonderful studio here that I built all by myself. Oh yeah, I love this place. It's so pretty. Okay, so today we are going to cover a very difficult topic, grief. Grief is, it's a terrible, terrible thing, and it's the body and emotions way of coping with loss. Now, we're not just talking about the loss of potentially a loved one or the loss of a beloved family pet. We're also talking about the loss of a friendship. We're talking about the loss of, you have a hole in your pocket and you put $1 in there and the dollar falls out the hole in your pocket. How often have you lost something? You're losing your favorite pen. Even then, it's like, where is it? And you kind of panic for a second, and you get angry, and then sometimes you find it, and sometimes you don't. And if you don't find it, you get over it pretty quickly. I mean, it doesn't affect you for long, but still, you grieve the loss of your favorite pen, because it was right there. Where to go, So, 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So first it's, oh no, I've lost my pen. No, I didn't lose my pen. It's got to be here somewhere. No, I didn't lose my friend. She's just around the corner. I can call her anytime I want. I didn't lose my friend. And then we go on to anger. Where the F is my pen? Where the heck did it go? Where is it? I can't find it. I'm getting so angry. Again, with friendship, it would be, what do you mean you don't want to be my friend anymore? What, am I not good enough for you? Like, think of Joe Pesci in the Goodfellas movie. Am I here to clown? Am I here to make you laugh? That's my really, really bad Joe Pesci impersonation. I hope you enjoyed it. And then, yes, I am using my phone for notes. And then we have bargaining. Like, oh, come on, let's go out for a coffee and talk about it. I'll take you to your favorite place, and I'll buy you a slice of that cake you really like. And come on out with me, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk through it. We'll make it better. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. You can't really bargain with a lost pen, though. So some of them we're going to skip because of the lost pen. But yeah, like when you have lost a friend, these are things that really happen. And then you hit depression. So you're really, really sad. And sometimes you cry. Sometimes you feel miserable and horrible. And you really do blame yourself for that loss. And it all sort of compacts and compounds and weighs down your heart. And it's a horrible, horrible feeling when you've lost something and you didn't appreciate it enough to begin with, or maybe you did appreciate it as much as you could, but it wasn't good enough. Sometimes, a friend of mine and I came up with the analogy that a friendship is like a heartbeat. Sometimes you're together, sometimes you're apart. Sometimes you're together, sometimes you're apart. Those are the best kind of friendships. The ones that can manage to be together and apart and together and apart and still be okay. Unfortunately, sometimes the heart breaks. And that's that. Period. There's no explanation. There's no amount of talking. There's no amount of bargaining. There is no amount of any sort of, there's no amount of anything that will make it better and make it okay. If people are not supposed to be friends, then they're not. And then the hardest one to get to is acceptance. Accepting the choice someone else has made not to be a part of your life. Accepting that the pen is gone and you're never going to see it again. Grief is it's a difficult one because most of the time it does have to do with a dying loved one or a recent passing. And my own experience with death is I don't have very much for someone in their 40s. And yes, I just outed myself as over 40. I've lost my grandmother, and that I was devastated, absolutely devastated. She was 96 years old, and I yelled a lot at my family members, specific family members, because they were grieving in their own ways, and I didn't agree with the way they were grieving. Like, they were celebrating collections of beautiful things that she had and celebrating her artistic details that were in her house and things like that. They were celebrating this. And I was screaming and yelling at them, how dare you? How dare you take things that don't belong to you? Those are Granny's things. Don't take those things. Don't do things. Why are you publicizing the fact that our grandmother's dead? And it was extremely unfair. Back then, it was definitely pre-diagnosis, so I didn't have a lot of introspection, and I didn't have a handle on what was necessary, and I didn't have the tools I needed to be able to grieve properly. And that was a death that we all knew was coming for quite a time. And when it did finally happen, I completely lost my head, and I behaved atrociously. And to all of my wonderful family members out there who I behaved atrociously to, I am so sorry. I have so much more understanding and comprehension of what you were going through. Because if you were going through even a tenth what I was going through, I am so sorry that I behaved the way that I did. I know people with bipolar disorder definitely feel things more strongly and more acutely. It doesn't mean it's any less strong or acute than you. It just means I can't handle it as well. I don't have as many physical and emotional and psychological safeguards in place to keep the behavior at bay. Those things don't exist for me, so I've had to build them. So yes, I heartily, publicly apologize for my behavior. It was not okay. Even now, I'm getting to a stage in my life where a lot of my friends, they're having grandchildren, and they have elderly parents that are approaching end of life. And it's so difficult to watch them and their family members, and they... you wish the heartbeat was like this, because they would be tight, and they would be close, and they would be communicating, and they would be supporting and loving each other. And instead, it's kind of like this. They're kind of stuck together in the middle and doing their best to not hurt each other. And that's about all. And it's so difficult to see them like that. And I wish there was far more counseling available, and grief counseling, and if it was advertised more and out there more, so people would know, like, hey, if you're going through a thing, go talk to somebody that knows all about that thing. That's how life works. And like, people go to school for years and years and years to be able to talk to people about mental illness. Okay, well, grief is a situational mental illness. Talk to somebody about it. Please. They have crisis lines. They have grief lines. You can make an anonymous telephone call just to have a conversation, so you can cry your brains out and swear your head off, if that's what you need to do to get it out of your system. And then you can go and face your relatives again and be the love and the support that everyone needs. And then you can tell them, I'm able to do this because I made a phone call. It's a very difficult circumstance to be in. And I have to sort of sit on the sidelines and just try to be as positive as I can, and be as loving as I can, and give lots and lots of hugs and lots of attention and lots of affection, because that's all that one can do when one is supporting a person who's going through a very extreme life change that is the passing of a loved one. Especially when it's an elderly parent or someone who's been battling an illness for a long period of time, which has finally reached its conclusion. It's not a surprise that this is happening, but it's still really hard to look at a parent, especially like for me. If I had to look my dad in the eye and say goodbye, I don't know if I could. I really don't know if I could. I would, because I would need to in order to have that closure. But I don't know if I would survive it, honestly. It would kill me to do that. My father has always been strong and able and capable and in charge and doing everything all the time. And I am daddy's girl, as I said in my last video too. I don't know if I would be able to do it. I really don't. That's a challenge I am not looking forward to, but it's coming, just like it comes for everyone. Please, 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 as always, look after yourselves and each other.